What made the change happen?
Back in 2019 when COVID happened and I was just leaving my job to earn nothing.
The biggest question that I had in my mind was the logistics of it.
These are all exaggerated statements. When you come out of it, you feel you have passed a long way, but it is hard at that time.
Eventually, at the end of the day, there are no new ideas. It's all been done. There's already a product that exists.
The entire market will fall into place. Everything else is a byproduct of it.
But logistically, I'm assuming it is going to be a big challenge to be able to do this when you are at scale and you're looking at doing this nationally.
I mean, national goal is there, but it's fourth step down the journey.
I would assume there are 2 or 3 ways where this can go, right? You can continue to be a marketplace, you can do better pricing over a period of time.
But vision is important to ensure that if everything goes right, this is the path we are taking.
Is there a minimum ticket that you hope to eventually introduce?
We are not the ticket size of where they invest, but thankfully he came on a call to just like spend 15 minutes of what we have done so far, and he didn't even spend 15 minutes, he just cut the call in 2 minutes.
In this episode, I speak with Varun Chopra, founder of GetEpik, who's building a business most of us would call unscalable, India's first try and buy home electronics company. We unpack what it takes to walk away from a growing agency, the mental load of a mid-journey pivot, and how clarity doesn't come from strategy decks, it comes from sitting in the discomfort long enough to see the next move. There's insight, there's honesty, and yes, there's a little bit of Bangalore rain magic. I wanted to start with where we met first, which is obviously the teaser company, which was wildly different than what you're doing with GetEpik. What made the change happen?
Sure, I think like I would say teaser company was an entry into a venture scaling, seeing how systems and processes need to be in place for a service company to be built to the stature that we took it to. I think my co-founder had been super supportive. Shivam, who is same college Bits Pilani, he was actually an advertising veteran, I would say, before we decided to start this. And it wouldn't have been possible if he would have not been a part of the journey, because like back in 2019 when COVID happened, I mean, I had just decided to leave my job. I had my girlfriend also, who is my wife. And yeah, I mean, she's an IIM Calcutta graduate, earning very well, and I was just leaving my job to earn nothing. So I mean, there were those times when it all was just taking a leap of faith. But luckily, like Ankita, who's my wife, earns well, is when the teaser company kind of took the roots. And yeah, I mean, overall, COVID was a catalyst to the entire D2C movement, I believe. So yeah, I mean, teaser 5.5 years scaled to around 100 plus active accounts, 50 plus members. However, we both realized that service company has its own pace. So that's why Shivam and me, we both had decided to launch a D2C brand which was called Homified. And yeah, it was in the space of electronics, and we both wanted to do something home related, electronics related, and tech related. That was some space that Shivam, as a person, because he's more of a strategist, realized that yes, there is Nykaa for cosmetics, there is Mintra for apparels, but there is nothing for electronics as a vertical e-com marketplace. I mean, kudos to his vision that it still holds true, and that is where we are moving also with Epic, with just like I would say a very better team, or even a better state to do this. But yeah, teaser company, I would say in itself has given us the pillar where we are at this moment. And if you build what they want at scale but don't know how to get, you will eventually be successful. So it was about finding that right market spot, that the problem statement which resonates at large. A lot of times founders fall into the trap of, यार ये मेरी problem statement है, शायद ये सबकी होगी, but it's hard to find the real big market problem statement. But yeah, with Epic, thankfully, with new co-founders and team, we are moving in the right direction. So that's it, Neha. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the first thought that came to my mind, of course, was that the teaser company, it's a creative space, you can do so much and you're allowed to create sort of advertising engines for other D2C brands, which is which is a great way to talk about multiple different things. But now you're only focusing on GetEpik. And in GetEpik, the biggest question that I had in my mind was the logistics of it. So the operations of it seems to be quite a task. How has that shift, mentally, has that shift been difficult for you, or what has that shift been like?
No, totally. Like for 3, 4 months, I would say that my mind was almost, in a numb phase where I also read about it later on, where, through which journey I was going through. Because, speaking about September, we had a runway of around 4, 5, 6 months probably at Homified, and we had to take two big decisions. One is, speaking to other investors, and we had a board also, Archit, who is an INSEAD DSG alumni, and on the other side there is, Arjun Vaidya, like who was also supporting us. So majorly, both suggested that you have to take a decision where one builds one company and the other one goes for the other, for you to
Hmm.
justify, because these are, you can't be in two boards, it's not easy to manage it, and you can't have split attention.
Hmm.
That does not justify, like how you raise a company. So that is where we decided that, Shivam will keep on building teaser,
Hmm.
and I'll go and do justice to Homified, which is now, like I would say, a merged cap table and a better team, and we call it Epic. I'll
Hmm.
come to why we changed the name, etc., and what was the long term view.
Hmm.
However, like you asked, the entire pivoting journey isn't easy. It is very lonely, because you don't know what is this, when is this tunnel going to end.
Yeah.
Every day feels like, almost, I wouldn't call it depressed, would be like a very, like very hard word to say, but it's a valley of despair. You are every day like, uh, Elon Musk says, you are like crunching, glass in your mouth, is how it actually feels like. But these are all exaggerated statements. When you come out of it, you feel, you have passed a long way, but it is hard at that time, because mentally you have to fight, the low phases. So yeah, I mean, I would say it was a tough phase for 3, 4 months, but long story short, I'm super happy as a person now, and with where we are going, it's very exciting to see next 10 years how it will unfold.
Yeah, it almost sounds like you found direction. Like it feels like there is an end to the tunnel, like you said, right? So there is, you climbing slowly out of the valley of despair, and it sounds happy days. Of course, so very, very, very well put, right? Depressed is very hard a word to use for founders, but I think most of us are in that boat most of the time.
That's why therapists and all are booming in India. No, I think therapy, psychology, even mental sessions. I think it's a must-have. Like if
Yeah,
people are not taking it, I would highly urge them to take, because I've also taken sessions, and
yeah.
it's super useful. I mean, you feel super relaxed after it. One thing I heard, that in US people
Hmm.
don't date each other if they don't have a therapist. I mean, a girl won't date a guy if, like, she asks, do you
It's a
have
red
a
flag.
therapist
Yeah,
or not?
yeah,
Because they want to ensure that they're dealing with a person who have a back of a mind, helper or a coach.
yeah.
That's how I think in India also, 5 years down the line, all of
That
us
could happen.
might have, yeah.
Yeah, and then rightly so, right? Because you need someone who is not coming with their agenda, and who is not going to, when you say something, who's not going to turn back and say, but 5 months ago you said this, and then all of that. You just need your own space, and I think that's what therapy, coaching, whatever you want to call, you need that space, especially if you're deciding to create a venture which is going to scale across the country. So now let's talk more about the venture. Tell me more about GetEpic.
I remember very vividly there, thanks to one of my connects who actually introduced us to Abhishek Nag from 361. And I mean, it was not a pitch, or not
Hmm.
even like, we are not the ticket size of where they invest, but
Hmm.
thankfully he came on a call to just like spend 15 minutes of what we have done so far and where we should move.
Hmm.
I mean, he didn't even spend 15 minutes. He just cut the call in 2 minutes, saying that all you need to work out is your differentiation. Uh,
Yeah.
and and yeah, I mean, then is where, it stuck hard. We were doing power banks, we were doing, all products where we had no control over manufacturing, no control over quality, because it is all, coming from China, etc. However, differentiation made our mind, like, go through a very directed focus. And that is where, looking at the space in the market, like, I also was very clear along with my co-founders that there is a big space between the urban companies of the world who enter your house, give you the services, and these quick comms of the world, which is, dropping products outside your door in 10 minutes. But what exactly that wedge would be was not defined
Hmm.
until me and Harsha, we were sipping coffee, and accidentally, just like, top of the mind, I said to Harsha, why don't we do 99 rupees and go inside a home and do a demo? Harsha
Hmm.
immediately, like, realized that it's a good thing to try. Why don't we do it?
Hmm.
He passed the idea to Gautama, and Gautama came back. Hey guys, let's actually do it for free. I think he also jammed with a couple of folks.
Hmm.
And why don't we go and do free home demos? Because in this market, touch and feel is the biggest gap, and people, why they go to a Chroma, Reliance Digital, or any kind of offline market, is they want to touch and feel all electronics, be it laptops, smartphones, projectors, door locks, robo vacuum cleaners. The entire home improvement, kitchen appliances is very touch and feel. uh, and that is like, I wouldn't call it a eureka moment, because we were going through the phase of finding that differentiation, and then, tying it back to Abhishek Nag had put inside, my head, that find that differentiator, that wedge is usually missing in a lot of D2C brands, even in a consumer internet companies or founders. I would, say, for any early stage founder, just focus on the wedge and spend, like, building your business on top of it. If it is, any D2C brand in FMCG, in lifestyle business, in any kind of, category,
Hmm.
find your, at least two or three big right to win. And
Hmm.
that is where, the entire market will fall into place. Everything else is a byproduct of it. So
Yeah.
that's how, we found live demos at home to be a differentiator and a winner.
Yeah, no, makes sense, right? I mean, eventually at the end of the day, there are no new ideas. It's all been done. There's already a product that exists. You're not going to change, reinvent the wheel. But the idea is to figure out what's the right wheel for your car, and move forward. And this is, I'm obviously tying my experience in the furniture space. And if you remember Urban Ladder, before the whole Reliance takeover and all of that, when they first came in, the first thing that they did was to do home demos. And they kind of continued with it for a while. I remember, for 5, 5, 6 years. I'm not sure whether they do it now or not. But logistically, I'm assuming it is going to be a big challenge to be able to do this when you are at scale and you're looking at, doing this nationally. What are your thoughts? How do you think this will
Sure.
go?
So firstly, I feel like I'm grateful to be in the marketing space. Like, I'm handling the marketing ecosphere, but however, it's a company of founders, and we all have to, support, and find, where are the biggest challenges. But like you mentioned, for us, training, because it's not a gig economy, it's people who can actually go inside a house, talk beautifully, have etiquettes, smell good, talk good. I like all those basics are very much important, because it's that is our brand. That 40 minutes is gold mine for us. That, and we have found, like, a lot of tech wedges to help us scale operations smoothly. One being, we put a small microphone inside, like, and we record it with the permission of a consumer, that, for training and security purposes, we'll record this conversation, and that essentially gives out a lot of, information of what the customer was actually looking for. If they have a baby in the house, we can have our selection sorted as per it. If they have a grandmother, we then talk about massagers, or massage guns. If there are, young boys, or father, then we talk about meta shot, which is a smart bat. and then
Hmm.
talking to a mother, we upsell, cross sell other gadgets. However, your question being the operational challenges, yes, sending people to home demos is a logistics play, and essentially I would say it's a big logistic world. However, thanks to last decade of India, I mean, a lot of rails have already been built. It did not, like, 10-minute deliveries not happening in Europe, in US, not because they cannot do it. Yes, there is a labor cost issue. India is a high populated, dense country, so we can afford that labor. I mean, national goal is there, but it's fourth step down the journey. The first step is only Bangalore crack 20 kilometers, build very hyper local, fulfillment or urban warehouses. We don't call it dark stores meaningfully because, I mean, it doesn't sound positive to us. However, like, urban warehouses, we feel are much better way, and we are not a typical dark store also. So that is where the hyper local intention makes the business operations much easier, and there are area managers that are already have scaled, the likes of Dunzo, Zepto, Blinkit, Instamart. So we feel
Right.
we are in a world where probably these challenges were already sorted.
Understood. Understood. Makes sense. So essentially, what I'm hearing is that the logistics of the gig economy, or getting people who will be able to do all of this, going to a one person and are trainable enough to do this 40-minute demo, at least from a resource perspective, or from can I get a person to do this perspective, that is sorted. Thanks to the Blinkits of the world and all of that. Of course, now once the person is inside the house, what happens is something that is going to be a purely curated get epic experience, is what I'm assuming.
Yes.
But if I was to look at it from the other side, while consumer is king, and especially in a D2C situation, consumer is always going to be king, it is also true that consumers can be quite a pain in the ass. So, do you is there a minimum ticket that you hope to eventually introduce? Do you like is there a selection that they have to do? Like, does it have to be minimum 5 products that they get, and then a demo happens, or will you send it? How does that work?
Sure, sure. So, talking about the nuances, yes, I mean, not every customer is the same. However, like, every new brand goes through the phase of where the first curve is called the innovators. Then you have the early adopters and the late adopters. I think all marketing theories talk about it. Luckily, the innovators are the one who actually tries new things on their own, wherein as soon as they get to know there is a new product out there, there is a new gadget, there is a new startup out there, they will jump on it. And Bangalore is full of those people.
Perfect place to do it. Yeah, I
Perfect.
agree.
Yeah, it's a cosmo city. All people from Kolkata to Bombay to Delhi. It's a mix of, I would say it's New York of, or like people call it the Silicon Valley, because yes, there are tech people who want to actually explore gadgets. So that is one of the strategic point of how we took Bangalore as a decision. As well as, at the same time, yes, we do pin code researches of Bangalore, where we know actually people who have decent jobs, or people who are earning well, can take a demo. But for us, it's like we are not seeing it as a 1 year 5 year business. All three of us came with an intent of spending a decade, because consumer internet businesses are not built like
Yeah.
this ever. Even with AI, probably we can fasten it up 30-40%, but still it will take its own time. Brands take time to get into the mindset, but yes, we feel that 40 minutes spent with the consumer will compound over years, as it has done for Urban Ladder. Eureka
Hmm.
Forbes is a 40-year-old
Hmm.
case study, which everyone remembers. And
Yeah.
there is Best Buy in the US, who also had a fleet who used to give demos, and that was their wedge after 2010, where they were able to defend against Amazon because of this wedge. However, talking about our guy carries anywhere, a guy or the girl, there are mixed fleet. They carry anywhere from 28 to 30 SKUs, no matter what demo you have booked. You as a person probably could be living with someone else, might be having babies, or might be having in-laws, or grandmother, granddaughters. So that is how, like as soon as we enter, everyone becomes curious that what is this guy carrying in, a big
Yeah.
bag of 210 liters.
Hmm.
And they're curious to see new gadgets. I mean, smart door locks to Miko, which is an AI toy. However, the primary 30 minutes is spent on the product you are actually looking for.
Looking for.
And we give all the knowledge of what RoboVacs are out there in the market. If you have chosen a RoboVac demo,
Hmm.
what are the price point differentiations, what are the feature differentiations. And you can do your research while we are giving you a demo online also. I mean, we have seen
Yeah.
many people, they open their laptop while we are speaking because they check the prices, they check the features. And if everything is very transparent, they feel that there's a value to this guy who has entered home, and that's how they purchase.
That's how
uh,
they put.
Luckily that has been the journey. However, yes, there will be some consumers who would not be so extrovert or so open to accepting people, while there are customers who handed over mangoes to us, who handed over 500 rupee note to our guy, who handed over halwa to our guys. So you can imagine India,
Yeah.
no?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Every kind of family
Yeah.
is there.
I know. And I mean, it's heartening. These stories make you, on those valley of despair days, these stories really help when something is happening. Um, I know it's early days, but have you been able to find, or have you started noticing certain category of products that?
Yes, yes, for sure. Like try and buy is firstly a feature. It's not the product. The product is vertical e-commerce marketplace. So, like you mentioned, it's a wedge, and yes, the wedge has certain limitations on what product are actually not try and buy, and it's not worth pushing for. Because like according to us, like home appliances, kitchen, even there is security and surveillance. There are categories, broad categories that we have almost decided around seven, to
Hmm.
be precise, where
Hmm.
we'll focus, and in those categories also products that actually where people want a touch and feel, where it's worth giving a shot at a demo, and upsell, cross sell other relevant gadgets.
I would assume there are two or three ways where this can go, right? You can continue to be a marketplace. You can therefore do better pricing over a period of time, or you can also start white labeling stuff. Have you guys thought about that far into the future?
Yeah, Neha, I would say we have thought through like the entire decade. However, we focus on the next 1 year in the sense that, we have to be, agile enough to take decisions as market evolves. But vision is important to, ensure that if everything goes right, this is the path we are taking. Uh,
Hmm.
in that path for next few years, like next 1 year, it's Bangalore, it's try and buy, it's our marketing wedge, it's our differentiator.
Wow.
And it's getting top of the mind of consumer. Epic is equal to try and buy electronics is how
Hmm.
we want to position ourselves, and we are positioning against the Chromas and the Reliance Digital as it's 2025. Why do you need to get out of your house where an experience? It's not a price war in this
Yeah.
categories. It's actually real knowledge transfer, because like for a robo vacuum cleaner, you want to know so many details: how to use, how to install the app, how to track, how to
Yeah.
remove dirt. Each and every product, like our top 10, 15 SKUs, have
Hmm.
those nuances to it, and those are mass products. It's not that they reduce our TAM. It's these categories are entering India, thanks to how India is growing. I'm sure you know, and that's why you also started a D2C journey. I mean, there's much more to India than those 10, 15 crores of top people who can spend money. There is a big chunk of, another 20, 30 crores who is expected to participate in an economy by 2030, which is, why there are funds coming to India, US, and the other, international markets are bullish about us. There are funds flowing. So yeah, for us, I would say there are steps to it, but the first one is building a distribution channel,
Hmm.
as there is no one else in the market taking the brands and giving a captive audience attention of 40 minutes one on one at home. For you
Hmm.
as a brand, the best alternatives is, I mean, you go to Amazon where there's more traffic, you go to Chroma, Reliance Digital, there is trust and touch and feel. but
Hmm.
who is taking the products inside a consumer's house and giving 40-minute one-on-one feedback as well as attention
Hmm.
is what is the next, I would say, 3 to 5 years of building that distribution channel pan India, and
Hmm.
then seeing where are the gaps for, let's say, launching new categories. We'll
Hmm.
try not to, not to bring partners on board and then try to steal their own market share. That
Hmm.
is something, we'll see if the business requirement is, but probably there will be many enough categories by 2030 that can be innovated, and probably we'll put money in R&D to find those categories. And since we'll
Hmm.
have the distribution channel already, we will have an advantage of launching a new category and then scaling it up. So that will probably be a more fundamental belief, but yeah, it's a cumulative decision of the board as well as the founders on how the path we'll take.
I think that's fair. And, in the next 2, 3 years, you'll also be able to identify what categories really work for you, what are the products that are selling. You'll be able to cull out all the SKUs that don't make sense and therefore don't need to be kept. You mentioned earlier in the beginning that there's a story to what the name is. Tell me that story.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Gautama came and he just wrote on the copy in front of me and Harsha, EPIK. I mean, firstly, we loved what we said it actually epic. Uh, I mean, that's how it came to our mind. But then he explained the logic that it's electronics and it's PICK.
Oh, okay.
And then is wow, Dharsha and me were like, oh, this is nice. I mean, till the time you don't say it, electronics and PICK and how you combine it and how it sounds epic, and epic in itself is a adjective, or it sounds cool, and it's all fitting in. So I think as a marketer, he keeps so many puzzles in his mind and then solve it easily. Is when we were like, let's go, man. Like, no more, no second further wasting of time in deciding the name. And GetEpik is why we, finding a domain was difficult. So
Yeah,
GetEpik,
I can imagine.
you
I
know,
can imagine finding a domain is like it
yeah.
makes you crazy. Um, Looking back, do you ever think that yeah, maybe if things would have been different with teaser, we could have probably like that would have become the biggest agency? Or looking back, is there anything you would have done differently?
Yeah, I still believe, like, when I was speaking with Shivam, like when we had to decide this,
Hmm.
we had a clear, differentiator for teaser also, and I think Shivam is working positively on it, and he's doing like our PNLs have improved, touch wood, so much after I have left. So I think there is something really good going on in that business also. However, there is AI now coming into play, which is, according to me, the entire service market will become SaaS market. That is something I learned from, another friend of mine who has built a very big venture in US in the AI space. And his insight was 3 years back that entire services market will become SaaS market, and that's how you see the telecallings getting shifted
Yeah.
to an AI bot. The entire tech services, the entire, now you can create ads, copywriting, etc. All those things, however, have been transforming, slowly and slowly, and now it's picking up pace.
Hmm.
So I think Shivam is also finding that pivot of, integrating AI. And I think there is a company called Gushwork.ai, which is a services of SEO, and they
Hmm.
have scaled to 2 mil or 3 million in revenue within next 8 months, like in
Oh wow.
8 months. So there is a transformation that teaser needs, and I think Shivam is on it. and
Hmm.
and in the future, my prediction is like in 2, 3, 4 years time, there is vertical AI SaaS play that is happening, and agencies
Yeah.
are the first one who can build it.
Yeah.
Depends on those who can transform organizations, but there is a 100 crores, 500,000 crores opportunity even in the services space, because now
Yeah.
services are getting productized as we speak. However,
Yeah.
that being said, it's a decision that we have taken. So,
Hmm.
I just don't look at the other scenario because it takes away the energy. And I'm all giving my positive energy to Shivam. We still share network in the sense that, whenever he find an electronic brands, he pass it on to Epic. Whenever,
Hmm.
someone asks, can you refer an agency, I
Hmm.
refer it to Teaser. So we are never, taking away that relationship. and it is ever going to evolve. And that trust, we feel, what happens 10 years when he would have taken teaser and sold, or probably built a large empire. Similarly with Epic, probably 10 years later we'll decide and build another business. So relationships are the most crucial pillars of it, like in the end.
Yeah. Whoever you took sessions with did a good job. Huh? You sound very, very sorted.
I'm telling you, therapy works. Like, I don't know why people fear. Like,
Yeah. You
everyone should
sound.
get a therapist. You don't date or marry a person who doesn't have a therapist. Should be the mantra of some, I don't know, therapy company, whoever is.
Thank you so much. I wish you all the very best for whatever, Get a pick holds. And yeah, I'm waiting for it to come to Gurgaon.
Yeah, Neha, I mean, hopefully we'll be traveling to Gurgaon also very soon. There are a couple of meetings lined up. Behind the camera, living so far, but would be great to meet you in person also. And, wish all of the luck for this podcast and for
Thank
whatever
you.
you are going to build next.
Yeah.
Hopefully, like Epic goes well. I mean, we are giving our best, and would be great to, meet you sometime in the future.
Yes, absolutely. We'll catch up. And I hope the next time we do, Epic is already scaling and, raising funds and everything. All of those good things are happening. But thanks for your time, Varun. I'll speak to you soon, okay?
Sure. Thanks, Neha.